Good morning, everybody. It's Angie Atkinson. And while I'm waiting for my chat to come up, let me just remind you that on this channel, I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. If that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button and let's get going. So, it is Talk to Me Tuesday, and today one of the first things that I'm going to tell you is I'll be back today at 1 p.m. Central Time for the regular Talk to Me Tuesday afternoon. Good morning, Jillian. Thanks for coming. Good morning, Karen Russ French. Hey, girl. Hey. Hey, Chelsea. How you doing? Hey, Jillian. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, Malta. Susan. Good morning. John J. says, Buenos dias. Driver says, hey, girl. Hey, wait, let me scroll back up here. Narc free 6 months. Yay! And so happy. You've been such a big help. That's amazing. Thank you so much for telling me. Maria Campagnoni is back. Hey, Maria, welcome back. Jay Mimi in the house. Good morning, Jay Mimi. How you feeling? And Carlita. Hey, Carlita. How you doing, girl? JT says, I love this group. I love this group too, Jillian. It's awesome. Oh, good morning, Andrea or Andrea Saunders. Good morning. Nice to see you. Nadia Said. Hey, Nadia. Good morning, Angie and everyone. Glad to see you. Oh, hey, Alyssa. Welcome back, honey. Rena Domingo. Welcome back, Rena. Nadia says to Jay, maybe, hey, girl. Scott Johnson says, hi, Angie, your coffee this morning. I do have coffee. Here it is. Is this my Scott Johnson, my friend, or is this Scott Johnson a new person? Are you the Scott I knew in college? I have a friend from college named Scott Johnson. I don't know if his middle initial is N, though. Malta McMurtry says to driver, that's great to hear. Yes, indeed. Rena says, how are you, Angie? I'm all right. I'm a little tired this morning. We had our swim meet last night with the kids. Well, I wasn't in the swim meet. I was just a parent watching the swim meet. But those of you who are following me on Facebook probably saw some videos. My kids both swim on our subdivision swim team, and it's super fun. They really enjoy it, and I think it's so good for them to do it. Good camaraderie and get to know the people in the subdivision. It's a good. I really enjoy it very much. Colleen says, good morning. Good morning, Colleen. Good morning, Barbara. How are you this morning? Colleen, I hope you're doing well today, too. Aldaria is back. Hey, Aldaria, you're from Australia, right? Aldaria, good morning. Oops, wait a minute. I got to scroll back up. I hate when I lose my place. Oh, Guardian Wolf says, I love Tuesdays. Me too, girl. Me too. Rose the Taco, what a great name. She's new. She says, just questioning. I was in a toxic relationship and he just cheated on me and finally left after everything. I'm actually in pain. Oh, honey, I totally understand. It's so hard. It's going to get better. I'll tell you this. Sometimes these types of breakups are a blessing in disguise. Can you guys see me and hear me okay? I appear to be just sitting still on my screen. I just want to make sure I'm moving for you guys. Rose, stick with us. We'll help you get through the pain, okay? I know it's very painful. I know it's hard. But sometimes if we can look at this as a blessing in disguise, it can really make a difference in the way that we move forward. Because if you're already in a toxic relationship, then you know that it's an ongoing, painful process to be in one. You're being abused regularly. So if he finally left or you finally left, either way, this could actually become the best part of your life from here on out. So stay calm and stay focused on that you did the right thing or you're dealing with you're going forward now. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm a little tired this morning. Hey, hey, Sarah Lee, welcome back. Hey girls. Hey. Jamie B says, I had such an emotionally draining weekend. I'm so ready for normalcy. Damn it. Oh, I hear you. Tell me what happened. Laura Lee. Oh, I think I remember something from yesterday. Laura Lee says, good morning, Angie. Good morning, Laura. And Jamie B says, hey, Nadia. Living Kintsugi says, good morning, Living. Welcome, welcome. Anna De Lucia says, I'm sorry, I probably De Lucia, says, Anna from Pennsylvania. Hello. She says, love you. Big hugs, big help, recovery and support. Big hugs to you too, Anna. Thanks for coming in today. Zoe Webster, good morning again. Good morning, good morning. And Rena says, my ex-narc keeps on liking every post I make on Instagram. And then when I visited his profile, I found out he had already deleted the latest photo that we had. Is this a form of emotional manipulation? Certainly it is. Yes, absolutely. This is probably an early hoovering attempt, so be very careful. when they start to like all your stuff and delete stuff, and sometimes in this, to me, I would suspect that he's trying to keep you in the circle of supply and potentially might be trying to hoover you back into the mess. So yeah. Let's see. Living says, thank you so much for explaining everything you do, Angie. My pleasure. Thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate that you did. And Scott Johnson says, no, I'm new. It's so funny for me to say Scott Johnson. Like I said, I had this friend, but welcome. I'm happy to see you, Scott. Alyssa says, Angie, my narc and I went a weekend without fighting. He says all the time he wants this different, but he holds crazy grudges against my family and won't work on it. I know it will go back. Yeah, I know, Alyssa, I know exactly what you're talking about. And sometimes, when this is the thing that makes it so hard to leave a narcissist sometimes, is that you do have those occasional moments of, oh my gosh, we went a whole weekend without fighting and it feels so good. And you think, I was just overthinking it. It was just, whatever. But in reality, yeah, it's no bueno. Um, in reality, that it's a temporary, like I almost want to call it a furlough, or an oasis in the relationship where you have these moments of, this could be a really good relationship. And sure, it could, if your narcissist would get off the ego trip and start focusing on, you and him or her instead of just him or her. It's a matter of the narcissist wanting to focus on only their needs instead of yours and theirs. So, yeah. Like, for example, last night I was super cranky. I was tired. I was overwhelmed when we got home, and I realized I'd forgotten to eat dinner because I was finishing up my last call, and my husband took my kids up to the to the pool for the meet to warm up. And so I still made it in time, but I was late. But I was in time for the meet to start. I just didn't make it for the practice time, which was no big deal. But I forgot to eat dinner. So when I got home, I was so cranky, and my husband just brought me this plate of food, and he said, maybe you should eat something. And that was very thoughtful. And I thought, wow, that's really nice. It's that kind of thing. And I suddenly felt less cranky, and it's funny because at the moment I didn't even know why I was so cranky. I just thought I was tired from the meet. So it's interesting, the way that narcissists, they don't think about other people that way. And it's difficult. So it makes it very hard to live with them. Zoe sees and hears me. Okay, great. All right. Chelsea sees me. Great. Okay. Wait a minute. I'm trying to scroll back up to where I was because I lost my spot in my chat. I hate when I do that. Okay, here we go. Yeah. But Alyssa, yeah, it'll go back, and it's right. Absolutely. Okay. Nadia says to Jamie B, hey, Jamie, sorry to hear about the weekend. Something to do with the narc and Father's Day? And David says, good morning. Hey, David. Watching this daily sure does help during this no contact phase. Thank you. Thank you so much, David. That's exactly why I'm doing it. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Alyssa says, oh, go back to what it was. Yeah, I got you. Andrea Saunders says, nice to see you. I look forward to seeing you daily. You've helped me so much. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear that I'm helping. It means the world to me. It really does. Dolores is back. Hey, Dolores. She says, good morning from Oregon, cold and rainy. Oh, here in St. Louis, it is bright and sunny today. It's a beautiful day. I'm so lucky. But hey, I like cold and rainy sometimes too. It's nice to be inside all snuggled under a blanket then, Barb, hey, Barb Brosnan. She says, good morning, everyone. Have a great day. Zoe Webster says, don't go back, Alyssa. Yeah. Jillian has, oh, those are little swimmers. That's so cute, Jillian. Jillian found some little swimmer. That's so cute. Little swimmer emojis. Adorable. Scott Johnson says, I attract narcissists. I just attract narcissists. Any pointers to ditch the attention other than rock? Well, you could stop being so amazing and fabulous, but why would you want to do that? I think the best thing you can do is to stay focused on only tolerating people in your space who are benefiting you. So you can deal with narcissists from a distance, but you don't want to let them into the inner circle. You see what I'm saying? So the thing about us, the people who tend to show up here in this group tend to be empaths. Empaths have this certain light that narcissists are very attracted to. They want to stand in it and get warm and pretend it's their own, right? But what they end up doing is they end up kind of putting the light out for us eventually if we're not careful. So knowing what you're dealing with is the first step. Knowing that you do tend to attract narcissists. It's probably because you're a kind-hearted person and you probably react to extreme emotion by trying to soothe it or fix it somehow. So what I would do is just keep your eyes open for red flags of narcissists. If you're talking about someone who wants to be in an intimate relationship with you, you're going to want to watch for the insta love factor. You're going to want to make sure that they don't tell you I love you within the first, week or 5 or whatever. You're going to want to make sure they're not trying to rush into commitment, or that they're not trying to, on the flip side of that, play games with you and pretend to be committed. Narcs tend to rush to commit very quickly, at least when they need a primary supply. Now, there are those who pretend to commit, but who are actually secretly married to someone else or with someone else, and those are maybe the worst kind. They're all the worst kind, at least the ones that are abusive. Yeah. John Jay says, I've been down the last 2 weeks, but today I've decided that I will love myself and live as if my world is great. My friend, that is the first step to having an amazing life. I hope you know. It's the first step. It's a beautiful thing. Yes. Maria says, do you have, I think Maria's comment got cut off. I'll have to find it. She asked if I have any videos, but I'm not sure which one she's looking for. Good morning, Renee. Welcome back, honey. Dolores says, yes. I guess that means you can hear me and see me. Okay, great. Good. Okay. On letting go of anger. Oh, yes, Maria, I do have videos on letting go of anger. Yes, I do. One of the biggest things that I think is helpful, and I'll just really quickly tell you, but I would suggest search my channel for that term, let go of anger or letting go of anger. But I do have videos on that. Yes, I do. Anger is very toxic to us when it's no longer. Sometimes anger helps us to propel forward out of a situation. Okay, so when we're in the middle of the mess, sometimes we have to get really pissed off in order to get the strength that we need to stand up and get out of it, right? But once we're out and once we begin to heal, the anger can become toxic to us and could even kill us in certain, I know it sounds dramatic, but it's true. So what I suggest, this is actually how I managed to get over some anger from a previous terrible situation. And this sort of came to me in a weird way, and I'm not going to explain it right now, but some of you guys know the story. But what I did was I sat down and I wrote a letter to the person who hurt me. And I wrote down all the words I wanted to say, all the mean things, the bad things, all the cuss words, all the ways this person hurt me. And then at the end of the letter, I said, and the last paragraph, and this is what I tell everybody you should try, I said, now I'm going to forgive you, even though you don't deserve it. And I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for myself. And I'm going to forgive you because this anger is toxic to me in my life, and I want to be happy and move forward. So you're forgiven. Blah, 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 and then I signed off and whatever. Well, I never ended up mailing the letter. I didn't need to. I actually burned it because as soon as I was finished writing it, I felt this weight lift off of me and I was able to let go of the anger. So I know it sounds silly, but it was really helpful for me. And I suggest you try that. And then, it's a process, letting go of anger. But I have videos that explain some more details and give some other suggestions. So definitely check those out, Maria. Jamie B says, oh boy, Friday started with calls. This was her terrible weekend. Friday started with calls from his friend, his brother, and his dad, calling that he was going to commit suicide. And if I just talk to him and pretend there's hope that I may go back to him, I refused. Good for you. That is blatant manipulation. I'm not trying to be rude, but if he's going to commit suicide, he needs professional help. And there's really nothing that you could do in real life, I don't think. And so I think, the threat that he's going to commit suicide in this case may have been an attention-seeking device, but even if it wasn't an attention-seeking device, he would need to go to the hospital and get professional help. And that's what I would tell him. And that's what I would have told them. Yeah. So I've done a video on this before too, Jamie B. If you search my channel for that word suicide, you'll find it. Donna Doherty. Hey, Donna, welcome back. David says, excuse me, coming through loud and clear. Very good. Okay. Chelsea sees me. Okay. Mavis Washington says, this group has really helped me in recovery for 2 months. Congratulations. I'm so happy to hear that you're 2 months in, and I'm so happy to hear that we could help. Thank you so much, Mavis. I appreciate that very much. Alyssa says, my girlfriend sent me a link on Sociopaths. He was everything it said, yet I'm still in denial. Yeah, Alyssa, I think I've done a couple of videos on that same thing. And yeah, it's scary, but you're not really in denial, honey. You're getting there. It's hard to accept this, especially because we put our whole lives and our whole soul and our whole heart into these people. And we try really hard to make everything okay in our relationships. And then they turn around and abuse us, and we're like, what? This is not what I signed up for. But at this point, we've already got kids with them, and we've already moved in, and we've already married them or whatever. And or even if we've just fallen for them very hard, it's just really hard for us to let go sometimes when we think we still see that little bit of humanity in them that we love. And it's hard. Yeah, I know. And those weekends where everything's okay makes it even harder in some ways. Yeah. Zoe, thank you. She says she sees me and hears me. Nadia says to Jamie, I'm sorry, it sounds like typical narc behavior playing the victim. Yep, absolutely. Jamie B says, I texted them all back. I will not lie and give him false hope. He's using this as a manipulation. If you think he's in danger, call me. Girl, we are on the same page. Didn't I just, oh, I'm so proud of you. Excellent. Good job for you. Good for you. Great minds think alike, don't they? Dolores says, mindful thought management. Absolutely. That's helpful all the time. Yes. Renee says, I usually love weekdays as well, but my narc's home today. Ugh. She says, ugh, I hate his days off. The anxiety and depression hits me the second I wake up. I can feel that. I understand. You got this weight on your chest, right? It's like this. I used to feel like I couldn't even breathe. It was horrible. I know exactly how that feels. Yeah. Rose Hargrove says, Father's Day was trying. Everything I did or said was criticized. He said I was crazy. Yep, that's pretty common, Rose. I totally understand. And I know you have an exit plan set up, don't you? I think we talked about that before. But yeah, I know. And it makes you feel just like, are you freaking kidding me? I get it. It's awful. Yeah. Rose the Taco says, I love that name. She says, he also got angry about me being upset that he cheated. I'm very confused because I know he might come back because he always does. If I find someone new, every time he does, he makes me go back to him. You have to decide that he does not have power over you anymore, Rose the Taco. You have to decide that you are the queen of your own being, as it were, and you have to decide that you will not continue to allow him to make you go back to him. You know, I would say don't rush into a new relationship right away. Give yourself some time to heal. You have to remember that our feelings for narcissists are very much like the same type of addiction. It's an addiction. The same part of our brain is affected by our love for a narcissist or a sociopath as would be affected if we were addicted to a drug like cocaine. So know that. And remember this, if you're going to quit doing a drug, you're going to quit doing a drug that's killing you. The first thing you have to do is stop taking the drug. So you have to go no contact with this guy. You have to clear it out. Block him from your phone, block him from your life, block him from your Facebook and your Instagram and all those things. Stop letting him be in front of your eyes. It's a start. Yeah. And I would suggest not rushing into a relationship right away with someone else just to give yourself some time to heal so you don't end up on the same boat again. Yeah. Teresa Tromke, good morning, Teresa. She says, good morning, Angie and everyone. You're an amazing person. You're helping many people. Here's a hug to you. I'm a survivor. Life does get better every day. Thank you so much, Teresa. That means a lot to me to hear that. And I hope it helps other people know that it gets better every day too, because it really does. Yeah. Rena says, my ex-narc doesn't want to return my things from his place. Oh, sure. Yeah, that's common. Yeah, because if he keeps your things, he still has his hooks in you a little bit, right? He still has a hold on you, kind of. Sure. Yeah. If it's something that you can't replace, maybe you want to fight about it. But if it's just things and they are things that you can replace, then maybe you should just let them go in order to stay safe in yourself with your heart and your soul. Yep. Susan says, it was nice to see Noah and Sophia during the swim meet, my children. Good job. Thank you. They're good kids. Yeah, I did a couple of live streams on my page, not anything fancy, just, let me hurry up and stream this, and on my personal Facebook page. And people who are friends with me on Facebook or follow me on Facebook were able to see that. So that was really cool. Thanks, Susan. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's such a healthy activity, and the team that we're on is so great. I mean, they don't win every race, but they occasionally win, and they're both really good little swimmers. And their dad, he actually was a swimmer growing up until he was on, and before his father died, he was training to be in the Olympics. It turned out that when his father died, he didn't really do as well after that because his dad was kind of his coach. And I guess I can understand how that would be. But he's still a pretty good swimmer, and he's taught our kids a few things, and we've got an amazing coach, swim coaches team that helps us. And so we're very blessed to be able to do that for our kids. Guardian Wolf says, I've been distant from Paul since the 13th. I owe him $100 for keeping my stuff, dreading having to contact him. Why do you owe him $100 for keeping your stuff? That doesn't make any sense. Is he saying he's charging you a storage fee? That's, can you have someone else contact him for you, Guardian Wolf? I know you're expecting, aren't you? That's very stressful for you. I don't want you to have to feel that way. Stanza Stay Winning. Hey, girl, hey. Says, hey, everybody. Jay Meeby says, yep, very typical Nadia. And then Saturday, I woke up with so much anger and rage. Absolutely. She said, I have never felt like that. I was just filled with hate for him. It was scary and I didn't like it. It wiped me out. I understand exactly how you feel. Jay, maybe that was a good thing, though. You know, when we go through these phases of grief, you know, we go through the stages of grief. Anger is one of the stages. So know that. And I'm glad you didn't like it. It doesn't feel good. But it certainly was a step for you, honey. So I hope that you can feel that and look at it for what it was. And as you keep moving forward, keep pushing forward and getting healthier. You're definitely in the right mindset, in my opinion, because you know what you want and you're not focused on what you don't want. And I think that's beautiful. So you went through some anger and rage, and that's normal and it's healthy. And now you're moving forward, and I'm proud of you. You are doing amazing things, my love. I'm really proud of you for everything you've done. For those who don't know, Jamie B just left, I guess, a couple months ago now. Is it almost 2 months now, Jamie B? And she has been with us regularly and really trying to heal. And she's a beautiful example of how to do it, in my opinion. Yeah. Zoe Webster says, got all the documentation for my trip to Canada. Son can finally meet his grandpa. Let's see what he tries to do to sabotage it this time. Been 2 years, of course, in custody. Girl, I'm so sorry, but I'm so happy that you got your paperwork and that you're ready to go. I really hope he doesn't sabotage it this time, for your sake and for your son's sake. Just stay strong, stay focused, and try to stay as positive as you can. I'm excited for you. I think that's really amazing, and I can't wait to hear what happens. Oh, Rena says, Angie, I'm really thankful that you do this for us. It's a huge help. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that. That's exactly why I do it. Yes. Michelle Hoffman says, thanks to you and other vloggers, I've gone no contact with my sister, and I feel better than I have in 20 years. Love you, Angie. Oh, that's wonderful news. Sometimes you have to go no contact with people who are toxic in your life, and it certainly feels, I remember when I went no contact with my mother, I felt scared and upset and whatever, because she'd always conditioned me to believe that I would be alone in the world if she wasn't in my life. And obviously I'm not alone in the world, but also the weight off my chest was huge. I could breathe again. I felt lighter, and I actually lost a lot of weight after that, but literal physical weight. Yeah, I'm really proud of you. I'm happy for you that you're working in that direction, Michelle. I think it's so helpful. And I bet you feel a lot lighter than you did before. Certainly. Yeah, you said I feel better than I have in 20 years. Amazing. The Truth Hurts says, Angie, are you interested in being a speaker at the Narcissism Convention? I emailed you, but you never responded. Please contact me at Otis and yeah, I would be interested in doing that. I will have to check my email. If you have already emailed me at angiatkinson@gmail.com, I'll look at it. Does it say Narcissism Convention in the email? Because I'll just search for it. Let me know, and then I'll try to respond to you. I'm definitely interested for sure. Nadia, oops, I lost my place. Okay, wait a minute. I hate when I do that, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, Odin Performance says, Namaste, Angie. Namaste, Odin. Welcome back. Dana Nicoletti says, wait, I'll get to you. I just lost my spot. Hold on. Okay. Dang. Okay. Good morning, Angie. Okay. Okay. I'm getting there. I found it now. Okay. Truth Hurts. Nadia. Okay. Nadia says, I felt sick since Father's Day. It was awful. He's been very covert lately, but still ignores me, gaslights. It's like a dark cloud of negativity, and I wish he would just leave. Oh, girl, I know that feeling. It's horrible. You have a plan, don't you, Nadia? Or are you working on a plan? Do you think he's going to just leave? All right. Okay. Living says, Angie, a narc diagnosed bipolar is literally making my life hell every day with extreme emotional abuse because I filed for a divorce. Everything is heads I win, tails you lose. He's creating extreme conflict and using it to bargain. He will stop if I give him what he wants, as in a custody arrangement that's very bad for the kids. Is there a way to get him to feel like he wins, but I don't agree to his really bad demands? Yeah. I think one of the things you can do is remember that, first of all, he may not actually be bipolar if he's a narc, but um, most people who are bipolar, well, no, I shouldn't say that. It can coexist. You might want to look in on my channel for the word bipolar. You'll see sometimes people who are narcissists are misdiagnosed as bipolar. So there's that. As far as the kids go, one of the things that I have found to be very effective with narcissists in negotiation is obviously you want to be super kind to them, at least as far as they know. And you want to let them think everything is their idea. So, for example, if he's the father of the children, which I assume is the truth, one of the things you might want to do is tell him that, um, make him, start to talk to him about how he always wants what's best for the kids. And he's such a good dad because of that. And knowing that even though, the bipolar diagnosis actually could benefit you in court. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that he thinks everything's his choice. What I have also found is that narcissists want to take the children just because they want to hurt you. And so one of the things that I've seen work in other situations is one of my clients actually told me about this. It's really smart. She said that what she did is she said, okay, well, I'll tell you what, you can pick our son up and you can spend time with him whenever, blah, blah, blah. So she made this expanded schedule so that the narcissist would have additional time with the son. But as it turned out, the guy was really not interested. He was too busy and his life was too important and whatever. So every time it was his turn, he'd call and say, can't make it this time. And would you mind picking the kid up from school, or could you do this or that? So if you let them think they're getting what they want, but you still need to retain custody, you could let them say, you could say, sure, you could have a long, but if you act like you want the break from the kids, then they definitely won't pick them up. So this girl she said she would tell her narcissist, hey, it's your day to pick up the kids, da da da. And he would say, well, I can't really pick them up. So she'd pick them up, no problem. But uh, when when the tide turned in that relationship was when she said, he's like, oh, I want the kids for 2 weeks or this or whatever. And so she's like, oh yeah, that's really great. I could totally use a break. That's so awesome. I'm so glad you're going to blah, blah, blah. And so when he thought she wanted the break, then of course he couldn't he made sure she didn't get it. So maybe if you reverse psychology him a little bit, that could help. Be very careful. Don't write anything down and don't let him record anything you say in those situations. But write down everything that you document everything and document his behavior, his abuse, everything like that. One of the things that worked for me in my case was to I straight out told the judge exactly why I didn't want my ex to have custody and why I needed him to have supervised visits. And the judge said, put it in a letter so it can be in the court record, which I did. And I got what I wanted. So just be careful. Breon says, good morning, strong survivors. Good morning, Breon. How you doing, honey? Glad to see you here today. How are you feeling? Are you feeling good? Nadia says, but he won't. He has no one else to go to. I think he's waiting for his other golden goose or something. How do I get him to leave? Poke the sleeping bear. Nadia, if you're not worried that he's going to physically abuse you, of course you could poke the sleeping bear. But it's very hard to get a narcissist to leave. You have to make them very angry and push them and push them. I don't recommend that. I know it's hard for you to leave because you've got the child and everything, but I would suggest there are things you can do. I mean, there are things you can do. You can act just like him to him. You can start acting like you don't care about him at all. And, everything that now you're not supposed to do to avoid narcissistic rage, you could flip the script, certainly. It's very hard. If you cannot get it, yeah, exactly. Jamie B says it right there. It feels like you're living a lie. I totally get it. I suggest that you absolutely be careful, but certainly if you start if you start disrespecting him or ignoring him, they don't like that. They will get bored and probably ramp up the abuse a little bit to see if it works. And if that doesn't work, then they may leave. It just depends on the situation. I think it's going to be hard because he has no one else to go to. And he doesn't think he needs to leave. But if you start, turning the tide on him, things could change. I suggest, if possible, you leave, at least temporarily, but that's up to you. And I won't ever push you to do that if you're not ready. Good morning, Freedom Lee. How are you? She says, good morning, Angie and courageous survivors. Supposed to meet my daughter for breakfast, but not sure if the Narget sis will show up. That's hard. What do you think I should do? Well, I hope that you can meet safely. I would say meet and cut it short if you have to. That's what I would say. Hopefully the Narget sister will not show up. I like that term, Narget. That's cute. But seriously, I think you should go. I think you should be prepared to Grey Rock, and I think that you should cut it short if you need to. Pretend to get a phone call or something that's an emergency, you have to leave. Maybe have somebody text you halfway through, or set an alarm that sounds like a text halfway through, so that if you need to leave early, you can. Just a thought. Have an exit plan, exit strategy, as it were. But I think you should go, just so you could try to connect with your daughter if possible. Jamie B says, I so know the feeling, Nadia. Yeah, I said that. It feels like you're living a lie, and it'll be over for you soon. Stay strong, girl. Absolutely. Scott Johnson says, yeah, thanks. You are amazing. I watch these shows, and they have been so helpful. I've been through these relationships. I think 3 of these relationships. And you've explained how I feel about some things in my life. Isn't that crazy? We all have so many things. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The truth hurts. Thank you so much. I'm excited to hear about that. Leche por favor says, good morning. Good morning, Leche. How are you? Karen Restaurant says, I get hangry sometimes too. Hungry and angry. Yes, I was totally hangry. That's right. It's so funny. Oh, okay, Chelsea, got a jet. Be right back. She says, okay. Good morning, SD. She says, good morning, everyone. Nadia says to Jamie, Jamie, it's hard creating a toxic environment. I feel he knows something is up since I've been different, and he has been careful. So maybe I can't have an excuse to leave if he doesn't range. Yeah, for sure. They do play that game. Obviously, he does have, he values at least the supply you give him. So he's certainly going to be like that. She says, the way it is now, he has been so covert that if I make a move now, it will be hard to prove. He will look like a poor, pathetic victim. That's exactly, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what he's going for. I think you're a smart lady, and I think that's exactly what you're dealing with. So you've got to be prepared. Yeah. Guardian Wolf, absolutely ask a question about an empath. Please do. Yes. Good morning, Dana Nicoletti. How are you? How are you? Welcome back. Renee says, Nadia, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Where'd it go? Okay. It is now. I lost my spot. Okay. Renee says, Nadia, I'm sorry you're going through that. Mine's the same way. He went away with our boys and my daughter, and I stayed because she has special needs and doesn't like to travel. He was mad because he wanted her there. I stood my ground. Good for you, Renee. Good for you. I know that's hard. I know. And I love to see you guys supporting each other in the chat. It really is a wonderful thing. And I think it's, another big part of why this works so well for all of us. Yeah. Jamie says, that's exactly what happened when I started Grey Rock. Yep. He started treating me nice because I was like, whatever. It was confusing and I hated the fakeness of it all. Yeah. That's exactly what happens. Yeah. Guardian Wolf says, can you be an atheist and an empath? Just wondering. Absolutely. Yeah, of course. Empath has nothing to do, in my opinion, with your spirituality. It has to do with energy, the ability to feel energy. Yeah, I think you can be an atheist and an empath. I don't know if that's offensive to anyone, and I hope it's not, but certainly I think that you can. Yes. Breon says, funny thing, I was one to say I love you first, and the narc held back. Now, that happens sometimes, Breon. That doesn't mean that, what in some cases, the narcissist will hold back. It depends on the type of narcissist they are. You've got those who will, rush into the commitment, and then you've got those who want you to beg for it a little bit. And I don't think that you're such a bad person for saying I love you first. I just think that sometimes narcissists will hold back for different reasons, and everybody's got a different story. I'm just saying, statistically speaking, a large percentage of them do try to insta commit or insta love. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey, Nadine. Welcome, welcome. Nadine Ostman says, I watched your 103 red flags video and found 68 that apply to my husband. He convinced me that there was something wrong with me. Thank you for bringing me out of the dark. Yeah, Nadine, I totally understand. And that's exactly why I do these videos, because I was convinced there was something wrong with me for a long time. So I totally get you on that one. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I had a Sophie. Sophie just popped in with a little note that says, we're going to go outside, okay, with a little smiley face. That was cute. All right, let's see. Nadia says to Renee, thanks, I just feel sick. Our daughter prefers doing stuff with me. He told her she's bad and doesn't listen. His childish behavior is dangerous for her. She prefers me. Yeah. And that's good that you are aware of that, and that you can be there for your daughter. I certainly understand how that is. I mean, how do you tell a little child that he's selfish. He's mad that she's getting more attention than he is. That's what it comes down to, and that's sad but true. Yep. Karen West French says, Guardian Wolf, I am an atheist, so I don't see why you can't be. Absolutely. Yeah. Odin Performance says, Namaste, Angie. Namaste. I think I said hello to you, but I'm glad to see you back already. I mean, I'm glad to see you back. Even though, okay, long day, long morning. Haven't even got started all the way yet. Okay. Nadia says, my daughter and I have an emotional connection, and I'm genuine. She feels that he doesn't understand, and to punish her, he will destroy her. I need to take her away, but how do I prove he is not fit? It's hard. It's hard, and you're not going to necessarily. What I did is I wrote a letter to the judge when in my divorce, and I said exactly what he'd done that made me not want my child to be alone with him. In my case, I had a more obvious reason, because I caught my narcissist masturbating in front of my child when he was 16 months old, and that was the thing that made me actually leave him. So that's what I wrote in the letter. So if you have anything like that you can use, that's great, but you've got to document whenever he says mean, horrible things to your daughter. Write them down and keep them in a notebook somewhere, or in your phone in Evernote or something. The date, the time, document. That's one way you can start to prepare to prove that he's not fit. But it might be hard. Be careful. Yeah. Rose the Taco says, thank you for helping, by the way. I do watch your videos, and I will continue to watch your videos. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rose. I appreciate that. Big hugs, honey. I hope stay strong. To Renee says, Angie, so happy to see you today. As my narc husband's home, and that's always so depressing and anxiety provoking. He was away. He was away with our boys for Father's Day, and it was great. Girl, I feel you. What a great Father's Day gift for you, huh? Seeing you and everyone here cheers me up. I'm so glad to hear that, Renee. Big hugs, honey. Stay strong. Guardian Wolf says, how? Explain, please. Well, because energy is not, is what it is. You can feel other people's energy. It's not to do with spirituality, in my opinion. It's something that is innate within a person. I've always felt people, even before I understood the concept of it. I always understood how people felt. As a small child, I understood. My daughter, when she was 10 months old, I hurt myself, and she came over to me and she looked up in my face and put her hand on. She could just started to walk. I kind of screamed out, excuse me, and she picked up, she came over to me and she put her hand on my arm, and she looked up at me and she patted my arm, and she was concerned about me. She had no concept of spirituality at 10 months old, but she felt me. You know what I mean? It's different. It's different than spirituality. Spirituality is taught. It is. Empathy is something that is innate in a person. That's my opinion, of course. Dana Nicoletti says, I got calls too from his sister and mother saying how worried they were about him, that he remarried so fast, and his impulsive behavior. Dana, that is a little bit of a flying monkey thing, and I hope that you didn't fall for that. I mean, it's sort of a way to keep you roped into the mess, Yeah. K. Renruss French says, I don't need a book or someone to tell me to be good. Yep, exactly. Yep. Sarah Lee says, today is my 39th birthday. I'm seriously going to try and enjoy it for the first time in years without my 60-year-old Narcula. Yay! Sarah Lee, that is wonderful. I'm so excited. Happy birthday. Okay, I'm going to sing to you. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sarah. Happy birthday to you. Everybody tell Sarah happy birthday. Jamie B says, I learned from you, Angie. Oh, big hugs, honey. Thank you so much for saying that. K. Ren Russ French says, happy birthday. Andrea Saunders said, I put my narc out 2.5 years ago. He has had a new supply that was killed in a murder-suicide. Holy crap. 4 months after I put him out, she was still involved with her ex. 4 months later, he has a new supply. Oh my gosh. Well, honey, I'm glad you're out of there, and I hope you don't fall back into it because obviously, woo-wee, that's crazy. Sarah Flair dumped him. Sarah Flair dumped him. Everybody cheers for Sarah. Cheers for Sarah. Virtual high five. Is that too nerdy? Congratulations, Sarah. I'm so proud of you. You deserve so much better, and I'm so proud of you. Good job. Cheers for Sarah, everybody. She says, I feel so much better now because I know he never cared. That's right. I'm so happy for you. I am. It's a process. It's going to get hard here and there, but stick with it. It'll be worth it. I promise you. Jay Meeby says, happy birthday, Sarah Lee. And Sarah Lee says, thanks, Kay Ren. You're welcome and enjoy your day. Sarah Lee says, thanks, Jay Meeby. Love to you. Andrea says, why do I care? Why does my mind care how he treats her? Oh, because you're just, you probably worked really hard to make life good, and you probably did everything you could to become the person that you thought he wanted. And then when you see him over there love bombing a new person, it's devastating. I don't think you should let it bother you because, quite honestly, we all know that when it comes to love bombing, when it comes to narcissists, the beginning of the relationship always looks perfect. And it's hard for us to remember that, especially if we've been with him for any amount of time, because we want to think that, our relationship was terrible, and so you want to see them treating someone else terrible. Well, I'll tell you two things. You probably won't see him treat her terrible, but he probably will do it behind closed doors. So keep that in your mind. They don't change. They have the same cycle, and they don't change. Yeah. To Renee, Renee says to Nadia, my daughter feels the same as yours, and now that she's 17, I realize her special needs, anxiety, and depression stem from being an empath and her narc dad's manipulation. Yep, she's an empath with psychic traits. Sure enough. Yep. Nadia says to Renee, that is why I want to save her while I can. She is so smart and creative, and he will destroy her. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You need to keep that in mind. I'm going to tell you something. The thing that made me leave my narcissist was my children in both cases, my mother and my ex-husband. So kids are a big, strong motivator. Sarah Flair says, my narc kept $400 of mine, but I'm letting it go. Well, you know what? That might be the best $400 you ever spent, girl. That's terrible to say that, but yeah, it's common. So as long as you steer clear of him, because you will be happier in the long run when you do that. And I'm proud of you for being so strong to stand up and do what you needed to do to take care of yourself. Good for you, Sarah Flair. Yeah. Nadia says, when I'm at work, he just watches her by sitting on the couch and watching TV and videos on his phone. He doesn't connect with her. Sometimes he takes her. Wait a minute. He doesn't connect with her. Sometimes he takes her out, but she misses me when I'm at work. Oh, certainly she must. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Renee says to Nadia, thank God you're trying to extricate her from his grasp and control at an early age. Had I known about narcissism 15 or 20 years ago, I would have had reason and even ammunition to take him and leave him. Yeah, that's the thing. This is not something that everybody talks about, and that's why I talk about it. Yeah. Laura Lee says, my narc thinks that he can bully me to move back in the bedroom with him. I have moved out of the bedroom for almost a year now. Well, good for you, and definitely hold your ground. I hope you can move further than out of the bedroom soon, Laura Lee. I know that's hard. Yeah. Sarah Lee says, thanks, Angie, for getting me through this far. Hard so far, but so far so good. I'm very happy to be part of that for you, Sarah. Thank you so much. Stay strong. It's totally worth it. I promise. It's totally worth it. Rose the Taco says, I hope to take this advice and use it for future reference. I'm glad I found this channel. You're a very nice person. I hope to be awake for the next live stream as it's nearly 3 a.m. Oh, sweetie. I will be, it's 10 a.m. here right now. a little after 10:10. So I'll be live again in, let's see, 3 hours, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12, 1. Yeah, I'll be live again in 3 hours. So that'll be like, you should get some sleep. Get some sleep. Yeah, sleep is important. Remember that. Oh, Naja says yesterday was so bad I cried for hours. I couldn't stop. I totally understand. I know how hard that is, Naja, and my heart goes out to you. Um, it's okay to cry sometimes, but don't cry forever. Give yourself an end date on that crying. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure what you went through yesterday, but I understand the pain of it. Yeah. Sarah Lee asks Rose where she's from. Nadia says, when you have no more tears to cry, you know you are done. That's right. Yep. Chelsea says, I'm back. Welcome back, Chelsea. Rose the Taco says, good night, everyone. Have a good night, day, everywhere, wherever you are in the world. Right on, Rose. Get some sleep, girl. Talk to you soon. Sarah Flair says, I'm ready to leave Canada. Right on. I have not been to Canada, but I have lots of Canadian friends. Yes. Coca Leaf says, I cried a lot and never thought it could stop. And it did when I was truly done. Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you have to let it just cry it out and get all the emotions out. And yeah, it's just life. And it's mourning what you thought was there and going through the process, the grief process. And people don't realize how significantly these people affect us and change us and ruin our lives. But we can take them back. We can take our lives back and we can make it better. We can. I'm walking proof of that. And so are a lot of people in this group today. So keep that in mind. Guardian Wolf says, I was trying to help him out financially. The $100 is to help him, but he's really far in debt. You don't need to help him out anymore financially if you can avoid it. You've got to take care of yourself and your baby now, you know? Let's see. Learn, Grow, Sing says, hi, Angie. Jessica Aaron here. Hey, Jessica. I changed my name so it would be anonymous for any narc issues. Hope everyone's doing well. All right, awesome. She says, any help ideas for sleep issues? Yeah, having trouble sleeping. Don't know if it's from him or what. Oh, I lost my spot. Yeah, the sleeping thing is difficult. Wait, my nurse was a push-pull one. I lost my spot. I hate when I do that. Okay. All right. I'm going to just keep going. I'm sorry, but the sleep thing, let me tell you this. The sleep thing is hard. I suggest if you're still in the relationship, you're careful, but oh, there it goes. I'm not a fan of sleeping pills. I don't recommend sleeping pills at all. I suggest giving yourself a bedtime routine to start with. If you're still in the mess with him, it's going to be harder, but I suggest trying to stay calm and quiet within at least an hour before bed. Stop drinking caffeine by 5 p.m. or at least 5 hours before you go to bed. Maybe just do 1 or 2 cups of coffee in the morning and nothing else for caffeine during the day. Deep breathing helps. The 478 technique has really been helping me. One of the things, you breathe in 4 counts, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, and then you hold it for 7 counts, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3, up to 7, and then you blow out for 8 counts, 1, 2, 3, 1 Mississippi, 2, 8. If you do this for 2 minutes, you will fall asleep. You will. There's scientific reason that it works. Look on my channel. I've done a video on it. It's called the 478 technique or something like that. Just search 478 on my channel and you'll see it. It works. It works. It's simple and it works. You'll be asleep in 2 minutes. Yeah. And I've always had trouble sleeping. I'm not a big sleeping person, so I definitely don't recommend sleeping pills. But I think the breathing techniques have been very helpful for me. Mavis Washington, hey Mavis, said, I co-signed a car for my narcissist because his credit was bad, but I'm no longer with him. Woo! Please give me advice on this. Can I sign myself out? I don't know the legal implications of that, but I think there might be something you can do. I would advise everyone not to co-sign a car for someone they are not sure about in the future. But I would say go to his lender and find out. I think there's got to be something you can do. Jillian, are you still here? If Jillian's still here, she may be able to give you advice. David, if he's still here, might be able to give you some advice. I'm not sure. I think you can do something. So watch the chat, see if Jillian or David or anybody else who knows, please comment and let us know. If you co-sign a car for someone, can you sign yourself away from can you get out of the deal so you don't have to be financially responsible? Let us know. That's a very good question, Mavis. Okay, email subject 2018 narcissist. Okay, thank you, Truth Hurts. I'll check that out. Thank you. Okay, Valentine. Hey, Valentine, welcome back. Says, wait a minute, what does that say? Oh, Laura Lee says, Angie, question. Could the narcissist keep the house really messy and stinky so that I won't invite people over? For example, he leaves his trash all over, cooks fish, but will not take the trash out for a week. Yep. And he probably thinks it's your job to clean it up, right? Yeah, that's very, 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 very common. Hmm. Yeah. I would, yeah. What are the chances that you can get out of that house, Laura Lee? Let me ask you that. Yeah, certainly that he would certainly do that. It may be just because he's lazy, but also maybe because he doesn't care. But certainly it could be a strategic move on his part. Yeah. Valentine says, Angie, I found someone that's not a narc, someone that likes me for what I am completely. Oh, that's wonderful news. I'm so happy for you. Please be careful and keep your chin up. And I'm very, very happy to hear that. I'm happy that you found someone. That's beautiful. Thank you for telling me, Valentine. Renee says to Nadia, my girl and yours share similar traits. He's stomping her out her light like he did mine. So controlling, won't allow her freedom, should have a constant battle to protect and stand up for her. It's killing my health. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. And it's so hard when you're in that situation, but you want to get out of there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The truth hurts. Yeah. Thank you. Um, Andrea Saunders says, Nadia, I had the law put mine out, but he physically abused me also. Yeah, the physical abuse is definitely, in my opinion, the way to go. I mean, if you're dealing with any physical abuse, I think there's nothing else for you there. Physical abuse, in my opinion, is get out at all costs. You cannot allow yourself to be physically abused. Those people kill people. People who will physically abuse you, look on the news. So nobody expects it, but it happens. And people always say that won't happen to me, but it does. It happens to people. And I don't want you to be in physical danger. If you're in physical danger, I think you need to take extreme action as quickly as possible to get out. I'm not saying hurt the narcissist. Don't do that. That's not going to help anything. I'm saying physically get out and away from them as quickly as you can. I have very strong feelings about this. Physical abuse is horrible and hellish. Nobody wants to deal with it. Nadia says to Renee, it's making me sick too, and I already have health problems. It does. She says, I want to save her and need to prove he's unfit. Andrea Saunders says, that is why I wish he would just hit me. Nadia says to Andrea, yeah, that's exactly. I felt just like that before. I know how that feels. Yeah. Sarah Lee says, I'll leave Sydney any day to go to the US. Yeah, I feel you. Rose Hargrove says, Laura Lee, my life is the same. He hates me talking to people. My friends can't come to my house. Yeah, it's horrible. Sarah Lee, see AngieLive speaking. Yay! That would be great. Yeah, that's awesome. Andrea Saunders says, Nadia, mental abuse is so much worse. Try getting in touch with Help Inc. They will help you leave. Really? Oh, that's good information, Andrea. Could you please email me about that, Andrea? Angie Atkinson at gmail.com. That's Angie Atkinson at gmail.com. I would love to add that to my resource list for survivors. Thank you. If you don't mind. Living says, thank you so much, Angie. I feel like at least I have a plan. That's a start. That's all you need for starting. Yeah, starting a plan. Nicole Hunter, hey, Angie, I don't know if you remember me. I think I do. I'm the one with the twins from my narc. Oh, anywho, I went out for girls' night, and finally my narc was at the same nightclub. He showed himself to me after months. Ooh, how did that go? Nadia says to Andrea, thanks, I will check that out. Yeah. Breon says, I'm feeling pretty good, actually. I'm on a constant, expeditious path to full recovery. I appreciate you asking. Oh, that's great news, Breon. Big hugs to you, honey. You're such a sweet soul. I love your energy. It's so good. Nadia says, thanks, Angie, my friend. My friend and I were thinking of doing Operation Dander, where we get a cat. My daughter and I want one, and he doesn't. He is supposedly allergic, and that will make him leave. Hey, that's a start. I would I would be interested to see if he really is allergic. I have seen so many narcissists lie about stuff like that because they don't want another thing in the house to take attention from them, or they just don't like animals. But I would be interested to see if he knows. Yeah. Lord Lee says it's crazy. I was having a phone conversation with a relative who lives in another state. He screamed at me, "I'm leaving for work now." So rude. Oh, typical. It's because you weren't paying attention to him at that moment. Yeah. Yeah. Nicole says it was like I saw a ghost. I grabbed him and said, "Why are you here?" He looked at me with a yuck face, and I ran out and he started to follow me. He tried to follow me. Oh, Lordy. Jamie B says, "Good morning, SD. I just saw your name pop up. How you been?" Oh my gosh. Laura Lee says, "Why are narcs so rude? I don't get it." I'll tell you why. They have no empathy. They don't give a crap how anybody feels but themselves. They very much care how they feel. They just don't care how anybody else feels. Yeah. Christy Long. Hey, Angie. Hey, Christy. She says, "First time joining. I'm usually working and can't join in. Oops. But sneaking a break in today to watch." Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad you're here, Christy. I'll be back again at 1 p.m. Central Time today. Also, because it's Tuesday. Talk to me Tuesday. Chelsea says, "Happy birthday, Sarah." Welcome, Christy. And Christy says, "Thank you." Nadia says, "I have to go, but thank you so much, Angie and Jamie B and Renee and everyone. Hugs and love to you all." Hugs and love, honey. See you soon. Don't get in trouble at work, Chelsea says. Bye, Nadia. Nicole says, "I'm not ready to see my narc. I felt unsafe, scared, confused. It put me in a bad space." Certainly, I totally feel you. And how did that end up? Did you get away, or how did it work out? Sending positive vibes to Nadia, says Jamie B. Andrea says, "You can do it, Nadia. Act as if he's not there." Yep. Sarah Flora says, "My narc was a push and pull one. 1 minute he would love bomb me, and the next barely a word. It was so confusing." Yep, that's very, very common. Yep. Renee says to me, sorry, a typo, messed up the point of my comment. He wanted my daughter there on the trip, but I stood my ground and told him she and I were staying because she has anxiety and home is her safe place. Well, good for you. Good for you. That's amazing. Have a great day, Nadia, says Renee. Chelsea says, "Saw an ex-toxic friend last week. No communication, but she looks a bit haggard. Is it horrible that I was a tiny bit happy about that? Who can blame you? You know, abusive people are abusive people, and who could blame you for feeling that way?" Malta says, "Angie, I'm sorry to hear that. Hugs and love." Hugs and love to you, honey. Thank you. We're both doing okay now, so that's what's important. And Chelsea says, "Malta, hey." Malta says, "Hi." Yeah, he was a sicko, Jay. Maybe he was. And she says, "I have a feeling that my ex had so many skeletons, I didn't even want to go near that closet." I feel the same way. Yeah. Laura says, "I feel like a prisoner in my own home. On his days off, he demands all of my attention. It's exhausting, isn't it? Oh my God. He follows me around like a sick puppy. If I go to the store he wants to go to, I can't get away from him. I know that feeling. It's horrible. It's horrible. I'm so sorry, Laura Lee. I know exactly how that feels, and it's horrible. It makes you, to me, I always say this, but it feels like there's an elephant on your chest. You just can't breathe. You're oppressed. It's oppressive, right? It's horrible. I feel you. What I suggest is do you find, Laura Lee, do you find that on the days that you're not dealing with him, that you just want to do nothing, or you just want to like watch TV or just be by yourself because you're so overwhelmed with his attention? I get it. I get it. And it's not like you could do what you want when you're dealing with him, right? You know, if he wants all your attention, it's whatever he wants to do, not what you want to do, right? It can't, like, he can't just be by you while you're doing your thing. He has to follow you around and complain if you don't do his thing, right? Or is that just what I dealt with? I don't know. Chelsea says, "I love to see you each. I love to see you all each day." Thank you so much, Chelsea. And she's for everybody. And I agree. I feel the same way. I love to see you guys every day. And wait, I lost my spot. Oh, la, la. Okay. Chelsea says, "Jamie B closet? More like a storage unit." Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah. Andrea said she feels others' pain too. Yeah, totally. Lots of empaths in this group for sure. Yeah, Sarah Lee says, "Oh my God, Angie, I'm so sorry to hear that. I had a similar situation. I've never been the same since." Yeah, it really does. It's very hard. It's very painful. And yeah. Jamie B says, "Bah ha ha ha, Chelsea." Yep, I agree. I agree. That was a good one. Andrea says, "Happy birthday to Sarah." Chelsea says, she's laughing over there. Mavis says, happy birthday, Sarah. Everybody says, happy birthday, Sarah. Scott says it. Malta says it. Laura says it. Breon says it. Fellow Gemini. Oh, yeah. Twins, Guardian Wolf says, so none of us have souls, which I feel is energy. Guardian Wolf, I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to get into all that, but I'm not saying that. I believe we do have souls, and I believe we do have and feel energy. I am not an atheist, but I'm not against atheists. I have my own beliefs. I dealt with spiritual abuse growing up a little bit, so I may not have traditional beliefs, but I do have beliefs. I just don't talk about them a lot on this channel because it's not really relevant. But I have a very open-minded attitude about religion because I think everybody has. I think personally, I think most organized religions and even some that aren't organized are parallels all the way across. A lot of the stories match up, a lot of the dates and times and all this stuff, traditions are mixed and matched. And I just personally think that you follow whatever works for you, and whatever feels right to you is the way to go. That's what I think. But I do not think that being an empath requires you to be a certain type of spiritual. I think it just is what it is. I think it's almost a physiological function for me anyway. I don't know. It's the feeling of being able to feel other people's energy. The spirituality may help you to understand empathy better, though. That's true. Yeah. And Malta says to Sarah Flair, yay, that is such good news. Scott Johnson, cheers, virtual high five. Happy birthday, Sarah Lee, says Freedom Lee. Coca Leaf says, no contact with my narc for a month. Here's something I found strange. My 2-year-old has not asked for him. I want Daddy Where's Daddy. Isn't that interesting? Shows no excitement for him. Yeah, that's definitely a possible red flag. I'll tell you something, Coca. I left my ex-husband when my oldest son was 16 months old. 16 months. By the time he was 24 months, he did not remember him. So be aware. That's possible. Odin Performance says, happy birthday to Sarah Lee. Hey, Linda Welch, good morning, good morning. She says, much love to everybody. Angie, Renee, survivors. Yes, Chelsea, in front of my kid. That's why he's the ex. That was the thing that ended it for me. I was done at that moment. Yeah. Jamie B says, hey, Linda. Colleen says, happiest of birthdays to you, dear Sarah Lee. Andrea says, thank you. I put in 10 years. You were awesome, Angie. My pleasure. I'm glad that I can help. Physical abuse also comes with verbal and emotional abuse. They are not separate. You're absolutely right, Linda. That's true. And I did not mean to imply otherwise. You're totally right. SD says, my birthday is at the end of the month and I'm dreading it. Not because of my age, but because I'm so isolated, miles away from friends. I dread the narc making it as a lonely day. I know that feeling. I still kind of hate my birthday today because of all that mess. But I agree. I think what Karen Montgomery says, hey, Karen Montgomery Wilson says, do something that's special to you. That's absolutely right. Yes, yes. Hey, Literal Best, I missed you. You haven't been here a while. Welcome, welcome. Says, came in too late, but you look gorgeous, Angie. Thank you. I feel not gorgeous today, but I appreciate you. Susan says, Angie, how many videos do you have on how hard it is to have a narc diagnosis NPD? I have never, okay, here's what it comes down to, Susan. I probably have a lot of videos that discuss that point, because the thing is, to get someone diagnosed as NPD, they first have to admit that there's a problem. And you don't see that very often with a narcissist. They very rarely admit that there's anything wrong with them. In fact, most who are diagnosed are in therapy for different reasons, like the law compelled them to be there, or they're going for some other reason that's not NPD and they happen to be diagnosed. It's very rare to have a person who isn't a criminal by legal standards be diagnosed because they don't go and get checked out. They don't think anything's wrong with them. So some of them are very high functioning, as you know. So, I mean, yeah. Andrea says, why can I give good advice, but I can't take my own? Oh, sweetie, I feel you. I have those days too. Yeah, it's easy. It's always easier to see someone else's situation from the outside. I didn't take my own advice for many years when I was dealing with my narcissist and my other narcissist. Yeah. Linda says, good morning, Colleen and Jamie B. Good morning, good morning. Purple hearts, loves, love it. Good morning, Literal Best, Chelsea says. Laura Lee says, I know my adult children were affected by this mess. I'm doing everything I can to protect my grandchild from being scared by this. All right, you guys, I have to go. I'm so sorry. I want to keep talking, but it is 10:30. I have a call shortly, and I just can't keep going. I'm so sorry. Please continue. Leave your chat here. I'll keep it. I'll look at it at the end of my next session, and I will keep a copy of it on file so I can look at it later. I'm sorry that I have to cut out so quickly. I just realized I was way over time. But I just really like talking with you guys. I could do it all day long. But I'll be back at 1 p.m. Central Time for a second session today because it's Talk to Me Tuesday. So until then, I will see you soon. Thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life. And thanks for letting me be a part of yours. It really does mean a lot to me. I hope you guys know that. Have a wonderful day. Thanks so much.